use in order to settle this, because this is the future of the country.
Sounds of the Week on iRadio, your eye on South Sudan. Live from Juba, on air and online.
This is iRadio News.
Good afternoon, this is iRadio News. First, here are the headlines. President Salva Kiir has suspended the first Vice President Dr. Riek Machar and Minister of Petroleum Porkang Chol from their respective positions pending court trial. The spokesperson for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation has confirmed that 27 South Sudanese cattle headers have been detained by Ethiopian authorities. And some citizens have expressed concern over the slow implementation of the peace agreement, accusing leaders of failing to bring stability as the country marks 7 years since the signing of the deal. Tune in for these stories and more coming to you in our news bulletin with me, Wol Mapal, and now the news in detail. Lawmakers representing Fanga County in Jonglei State say more than 30,000 people have been affected by floods that have devastated the area. The MPs made the remarks after meeting presidential envoy Adut Salva Kiir to discuss the worsening humanitarian crisis. The delegation led by James Koch said the floods have submerged several areas along the river, including Ol Fangak, Wanglel, Kwomdong, Wichmon, and Nyalwal, leaving thousands displaced. During the meeting, the lawmakers appealed for urgent intervention to support the affected communities. They said Fanga County has faced flooding for the last 5 years, but the situation this year has become even worse. Speaking on behalf of the lawmakers, Cox said the office of the envoy had committed to help ease the humanitarian burden. He spoke on SSBC yesterday.
We have got an opportunity to meet with Honorable Adut Salva Kiir Mayadi on the issue of flooding that has displaced our people in Fanga County. People of Fanga County has been living under the water for the last 5 years, but this year it become more worse. The flood have submerged most of the areas that are adjacent to Zaraf River, starting with Ol Fangak, starting with Wanglel, Kwamdong, Winmon, Nyalwal. All these places are displaced, and about 33,000 people are affected.
Some citizens have expressed concern over the slow implementation of the peace agreement, accusing leaders of failing to bring stability as the country marks 7 years since the signing of the deal. They say the unity government has intentionally delayed the peace deal, pointing to insecurity, lack of services, and a worsening economy. The citizens also argue that the agreement benefits politicians and government officials, but not ordinary people. The comments were made on iRadio's Don't Show program today.
The 7 good years have been wasted to revitalize the agreement, which is even doing nothing to the people of South Sudan. We don't even know the direction of this agreement. And the agreement now become a constitution that is given priority to the leaders of this country to remain in power. Whether we the citizens or not, they remain like that because there is a certain article they have quoted within the agreement that give them the power to make a sanction all the time without even contacting the constitution of the country. If the SCLM and SCLMIO, if they fail not to implement the agreement, because they are the people leading it, they don't even ask the reason why this agreement is going slowly, and no question about it.
الكلام ده كان شبه انحراف لأنه هيك كان نشوف الناس اتوقع في السلام والدامين والناس الزادوا كان في مفاوضات يعني شكله كده قالوا ما مشاركين في الحكومة فعشان كده ساموا الاثنين أنا ونس كلام مني سنة فالقلت اتفاقية حاله ميت ولا حي لكن الإجابة جاء في رأسي بأنه اتفاقية رأسا مات في حالة جيبوها وهسا مات خلاص ليه مات لأنه ما في تنفيذ على باتفاقية على أرض الواقع من قبل الأساسة بتاعنا.
Agreement is not bad, but it is not well implemented. They are not implementing the agreement fairly and spirit, and that's why you have seen all these problems occurring. The only hope is that we are waiting for 2026. We are urging the current government of transitional unity to revitalize government transitional unity. Please, you know that you are in this position because of agreement. And we cannot ignore something that's holding you. So we are urging the government, His Excellency, the President, and all the partners in agreement to act, because we need to see if there is something being done as a citizen.
7 years ago today, the parties to the revitalized peace agreement signed the deal in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. The agreement was signed by President Salva Kiir, Dr. Riek Machar for the SPLM-IO, Deng Alor for the SPLM former detainees, Gabriel Changson for the South Sudan Opposition Alliance, and Peter Mayan for other political parties. His stakeholders, grantors and representatives of the IGAD-led mediation also endorsed the deal. This is our video news. President Salva Kiir has suspended the first Vice President, Dr. Riek Machar, and Minister of Petroleum, Port Kang Chol, from their respective positions pending court trial. The suspension comes after hours the government indicted Machar and Kang, along with 5 other senior SPLM-IO officials, of murder, treason and crimes against humanity, among others. In a statement released before the due suspension, the Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs, Joseph Gang, says the judiciary will form a special court to try the suspended first Vice President, Dr. Riek Machar, another senior member of the SPLM-IO, of grave crimes. Dr. Joseph Gang made the remarks after announcing the completion of a government investigation into the case. According to Gang, the investigation committee interrogated 83 suspects. Out of these, 21 individuals have been indicted, 8 other under arrest and formally charged, while 13 remain at large. He said 76 people were released due to insufficient evidence. Those indicted included First Vice President Dr. Riek Machar Teng, Petroleum Minister Port Kang Chol, Wol Mapal, Member of National Parliament Gadwich Lam Poch. Others are LT General Gabriel Duoblam, Brigadier General Camilo Gadmichael, Mading Riek Yak, and Dominic Gadgok Riek. The minister explained that the case will now move to trial before a competent court, where the prosecution will present its evidence. Dr. Joseph Gang says the judiciary will decide on the dates of the hearings. The charges against the accused include murder of Major General David Majordak, more than 250 SSPDF soldiers, and UN personnel. Other charges are conspiracy with the White Army, terrorism and terrorism financing, treason, destruction of public property and military assets, and crimes against humanity. Minister Gang stressed that the investigation followed international standards. He said the accused were informed of the charges and their right to a fair trial, including legal representation. Moving on with our stories, the Commissioner of Kajo County says security along the border with Uganda has remained calm since a visit by the Joint Border Committee several weeks ago. Speaking to Radio this morning, Commissioner Wani Jackson said calm has returned to areas affected by the July 29 attack by the Uganda People's Defense Forces. He, however, said displaced people remain in IDP camps because they are not sure if it's safe to return home. Jackson said the locals are waiting for the national government and the Joint Committee to decide if they can go back to their houses.
The situation is a bit calm, apart from just the small criminal cases. But the IDPs are still, they have not returned to their areas because we are still waiting for further directives from our authorities in Juba and Kampala on what next we should do after the report of the Joint Investigation Committee.
South Sudan and Uganda formed a joint committee to investigate border tension after the Ugandan army attacked Kangakpo 2 of Kajukeji County in Central Equatorial State on 29th July. In August, the leadership of the SSPDF and UPDF agreed to work together to address security incidents along their shared border. The two armies announced the decision during a high-level meeting at the Defense and Intelligence Headquarters in Mbuya, Uganda. The discussion focused on strengthening cooperation and implementing new security measures. Elsewhere, the spokesperson for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation has confirmed that 27 South Sudanese cattle herders have been detained by Ethiopian authorities. According to Ambassador Puga Yuel Mayan, the detainees crossed the international border into Ethiopian territory while armed. Puga reports that the the South Sudanese embassy in Addis Ababa is currently negotiating with the Ethiopian government to secure their release. She made the remarks during the weekly media briefing held in Juba on Thursday.
These 27 youth from Eastern Equatoria accidentally crossed the international border. And they were, cattle herders, so they were armed. And they faced detention on the other side. And so through our embassy in Addis Ababa, we are negotiating and with the government of Ethiopia for their release.
Ambassador Pugri affirmed the commitment of the Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation to facilitating the return of South Sudanese nationals facing deportation from various countries.
The ministry reaffirmed its ongoing commitment to international cooperation and the protection of third country nationals, including the safe and humane repatriation of 6 other foreign nationals currently in the custody of the Republic of South Sudan to their countries of origin. This action underscores the Republic of South Sudan's dedication to upholding international law, responsible consular practices, and constructive diplomatic engagement. In addition, the ministry continues to facilitate the return of South Sudanese nationals deported from various countries, including the United States, Egypt, Libya, among others. Furthermore, the ministry is coordinating the safe return of 27 youth from Eastern Equatoria State who are currently detained in Muzan prison in Ethiopia.
You are listening to iRadio News, and now to the international news brought to you by Prestige Millers Company Limited. Here is my colleague James Atem taking us through.
Thank you, Wol Mapal. Convicted South African rapist Thabo Bester has lost a court bid to block Netflix from broadcasting a documentary about his life, including how he allegedly faked his death and escaped from prison. His lawyers argued that Beauty and Bester was defamatory, but the streaming giant defended its plan to release the 3-part investigation. Bester's partner, celebrity doctor Nadifa Mogudumana, features in the documentary, having allegedly helped him escape. She was part of the court bid to hold the release. Elsewhere, Burkina Faso says it has removed visa fees for all African travelers in an effort to facilitate the movement of people and goods into the country. From now on, any citizen from an African country wishing to go to Burkina Faso will not pay any amount to cover visas, said Mohamedou Sana, the country's security minister, following a cabinet meeting chaired by the military leader, Captain Ibrahim Traoré, on Thursday. African visitors will, however, be required to submit an online visa application, which will be reviewed for approval, the minister clarified. And finally, a new video showing the Charlie Kirk shooting suspect fleeing the scene has been released by the FBI and Utah officials. Police have also released new images of a person of interest wearing a black t-shirt with a U.S. flag on it and Converse shoes. The manhunt for the gunman continued, with the FBI offering $100,000 for the information. And that's the end of the regional and international news with me, James Satem, brought to you by Prestige Millers Company Limited.
Vote of thanks, James Atem, for the regional and international stories. You are listening to iRadio News live in the heart of the capital, Juba. Up next is Sport News with Emmanuel Joseph Akile.
Eddie says his relationship with Alexander Isak changed after the former Newcastle United centre-forward went on strike to force through a move to Liverpool. Isak trained away from his former teammates and did not feature in any of Newcastle's opening 3 games of the season before completing a British record €125 million switch to Liverpool on deadline day. Eddie, speaking to reporters for the first time since the move went through, acknowledged communication between the pair became difficult. Island back row Awifi Wafer will make her first appearance of the Women's Rugby World Cup in Sunday's quarter-final against France in Exeter. Co-captain Eddie McMahon, however, misses out through injury. Wafer, 22, who will join English side Harlequins after the tournament, missed the pool stages as she recovered from knee surgery in July. The 2025 Six Nations player of the tournament initially remained at home to continue her rehab when Ireland departed for England, joining up with the squad only after their opening win over Japan. And finally, Great Britain must beat Poland over the next 2 days to have a chance of winning the Davis Cup next year. The world number 7 Jack Draper is unavailable for the World Group A tie because of injury, but Cameron Nouri and Jacob Fernley will have a huge ranking advantage over their opponents. It feels like a Premier League side being drawn away to a non-league team in the third round of the FA Cup. World number 37 Nouri will play 19-year-old Thomas, ranked 545th in the first of Friday's singles. Then Fenry, who is 54th, follows on against Olaf, who stands at 484. That's all from the world of sport.
Vote of thanks, Emmanuel Joseph Akile, for the sports news. And here it brings us to the end of our stories this afternoon. But first, let's have a quick recap of our headlines once again. President Salva Kiir has suspended the first Vice President Dr. Riek Machar and Minister of Petroleum Port Kang Chol from their respective positions pending court trial. The spokesperson for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation has confirmed that 27 South Sudanese cattle headers have been detained by Ethiopian authorities. And finally, some citizens have expressed concern over the slow implementation of the peace agreement, accusing leaders of failing to bring stability as the country marks 7 years since the signing of the peace deal. That is the end of our radio news. If there is a story or an event you would like iReader to cover or report about, please send us a text message on +211 925 287 870. It's also our WhatsApp number. Follow us on X at iRadio Juba, like our Facebook page, iRadio, subscribe to our YouTube channel at iRadio South Sudan. You can also visit our website and listen to us online at www.iRadio.org. Stay tuned for news in Arabic at 1/2 past the hour. On behalf of the news team, I am Wol Mapal. Thank you for listening.